I woke this morning to a wave of anxiety like I haven't known in some time. And part of my nature, my conditioned nature, that I'm wanting to let go of is to go into something like, if I'm sick, I just take, like, because I was disassociated with my body, it is said that we have high pain tolerance. So for me, a headache, I don't get a headache, and if I do, I'm taking 4 ibuprofen and 4 acetaminophen, and I have to hit it as hard as I can with as much as I've got, because it's not going away easy. I can deal with a low throb when it comes to toothache, but, cleansing my system, I'll turn to a harsh cleanse. Just get it done and over with. I was raised, in the 70s and 80s, classic Generation X. Shake it off. Don't cry. Oh, the number, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. It makes everybody uncomfortable because then they feel sad and they don't know what to do with the softness. They feel helpless. They haven't been conditioned. I mean, I got how to comfort my children from watching movies. So I'm trying to get rid of that approach of go all in, go for it, fight it, plow through it, you can do it. Like, no, I need some extra nurturing here, I'm thinking. So I went to my drumming. I said my morning prayer because I still cry every time I read it. That means it's still heartfelt, and even though they're words that may turn practiced and without resonance, just routine and habit at some time in the future, right now they are not. So I did that. I started with my drum, tapped into the joy first, and then it was just a nice soft melody, and just the sensation of the sublime existence of a woman who has houseplants to nourish, goes into the kitchen to make something to eat, able to tap into her intuition in just the right foods, the delicate flavors, and what the body needs to nourish itself, and just really peaceful and slow and content and subtle. And I shared that feeling. It was like a balm to the souls, and returned to me in that way. It was like a big family hug, and other people, they'll sit down, okay, the family sit around, everybody on the couch, leaning on each other, holding the kids, whatever, and cuddling up to a movie. This was just cuddling up to observe the sublime. And if the whole AI algorithm thing was working as it normally would, when I logged on, I would have been referred to like the last things that I watched last night. And before I did to the nighttime, relax into sleep, prayerful mode, I did a quick check of what's going on in the world, and you would think that's what would be first. That's normally what's first referred to you. But instead, it was a music video of healing frequencies called Softening into Change. So that's what's being affirmed to me this morning. soften into change. And so I made the phone call that I intended to make this morning, and nice, softening, optimistic, smoothing into a future chain of events, a potential. And so that's just the message for me this morning. And maybe somebody else can use, instead of following the world and feeling like you have to go out and do something. Sometimes it's just the time to soften and flow. And another thing that came to me, and it was on my mind last night, was when it comes to family patriarchs and the lines that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob rewards, it's the softer ones. Like our world is at war between two factions, both claiming to be fighting in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which Christians and Jews, they were so afraid to say the name so long ago that even the Tetragrammaton is not representative of the name. They wouldn't even make that image of the name. So it's lost to them. They don't know. And of course, the other side, they're very clear on what name they're fighting for. So it is two people fighting supposedly for the same God. But I look at who has been chosen by this God throughout the generations. And it was Jacob over Esau. And of course the fight is, subterfuge was used, but Esau did sell his birthright for stew. So, and God promised Jacob the birthright. And there was a battle between Cain and Abel, and all throughout recorded history of choosings by this God. And Yeshua too. They were a king, a warrior, the Messiah, El Shaddai. No. He came with compassion and understanding and meekness, not mousiness, cringiness, timidness, but softness, gentleness, consideration, except for to the fig tree. And subjection and honoring his mother at the Canaan wedding feast. But he learned. He made the wine anyways. So it's that compassionate understanding that is always rewarded. The softness, the flowing into things, the getting a sense of them. What is the real concern? What is the real worry? What is the real answer? Not a band-aid. Not a kill them all and let God figure it out. It's a whole different paradigm where a woman in her kitchen, after watering your plants, quietly goes about choosing from the things provided for her and comes up with the most nourishing meal for whoever she's preparing the meal for. laughter over incidents, kids running through the house from outside. Just that sublime peace. And again, I remember when the whole Dakota pipeline was an issue, and I tapped into that and I imagined what could be done. And the government attacked every act of protest that was done. And so I prayerfully wondered what could be done. And it was show faith that the land, the earth can heal itself. Go plant a tree. Go plant a plant there. That's like, wow. So I imagined that. And within a few days, the women, all together as one, went out to where the ground was completely denuded and planted a corn plant. And it was the one act of protest, that was not met with violence. And it was recorded up there that the men, the chiefs, they went to the Red Lodge, to the Red Tent. Said, we don't want you women praying while you're in there. God's going to hear your prayers. The Creator's going to hear your prayers over ours. We're the men. We want our prayers heard. And the first group of people that were called pagan were the Christians. Now everybody... See, this is why I'm so into the etymology of words. Where things come from. How they started. The origins. What it really meant. What's the vibrational nature of this word? How was it intended? And pagan just meant people of the earth. And I mean, the Israelites, they were shepherds. They were considered the lowest class of people. They were people of the earth. Not like city folks. They were people of science and intelligence, and everybody else does the earth, get your hands dirty stuff. And what was the work in those days? Paul says, if you don't work, you don't eat. What was the work? You shall work 7 days. You're allowed to work 6 days. But the seventh day you have to rest. It's in man's nature to do, to construct, and to strive. What was the work that was done? Tending the sheep and goats. Preparing resources for food. For shelter. It was all work at home. That was the work. You cannot go to work in the factory or you don't get to eat. No. Jesus, Yeshua, said, do not work for those things that decay. Don't worry about your food. Don't strive for that. Your work is the kingdom. Go within, and all other things will be added to you. That doesn't mean that we don't plant or we don't get resources or any of that. That just means do this first. And then you gather resources to you. There are plenty of cultures out there where the monks, they spend all their time in prayer and they live off of donations. They bring their pan down into the village every day and people give portions of food and then they take that back to the monastery and that's what they eat. So the holy people, the ones that pray as intercessors who maintain the spirit of the Creator within the community, are highly valued. That's important work. And you'll see that certain so-called Christian denominations, their pastors, their priests, and stuff like that don't work. But again, Yeshua said, call nobody teacher, call nobody father. You are all shepherds. You are all priests. Israel was supposed to be a nation of priests. They were supposed to be fishers of men. Way, way, way back. Abraham, Jacob, Esau, all of them. You will be fishers of men. They were to share the law about the food. That was the healthy way of maintaining your body, your temple. This is the temple of God, not some building on a mountain. If you can't take care of this temple, why would you be entrusted with another one? If you can't take care of your home, if your home is not in order, why would you be entrusted to tell other people how to manage their homes? I think it's weird too, because the Jewish man in Israel who I was listening to, he interpreted Paul talking about, who the shepherds, the bishop of the congregation, the elders should be. And he talks about where he says he should be a man of one wife and his children should be, good Christians, however they choose to phrase it. And he says he has to have children. I know. No, it says his children, if he has children. But this is what happens when you put law in the presence of a legalistic mind and culture. Mentions children, therefore you must have children. Because what does scripture say about the barren woman? Do not mourn your barrenness, because when you turn around, there is a whole generation, there are a whole lot of kids who need mothering. You're going to go about and, you're going to show kindness to somebody who's not used to kindness. You're just going to have that warm smile that strikes people like they've never been smiled like that before. And they're going to tell their children. And so you're inheriting the affection, the appreciation, the role of mother to other people's children, because they're taking it home and they're talking about, oh, I got smiled at so warmly today. I've never seen, let me smile at you that way. Let me treat you that way. Let me treat my neighbor that way. And so you grow communities like that. And that's by being soft, like water. Not going out and asserting laws and aggression. Yeah, there's going to be a time to be firm and when you're challenged. And have you ever tried to challenge a woman who knows who she is? It's like that time when at the time I called him Jesus and Satan, the devil, just both going at me. And I, grandmother, love, help, and boom, it was silent in the heavens. That is the feminine knowing its power, knowing who and what she is. Like, I am her granddaughter in the sense that the minerals that came out of her cauldron nature are making up my body. She's maintaining the vibration of them down in the earth there. And of course she does it subject to Abun through Yeshua, as long as she's associated with me. But dang it, the point is, A woman who flows like water knows who she is, knows where she stands, knows how she stands, by what power and authority she stands. And you go to contend with her and they just silence you with a look. Excuse me? That'll make you question anything. Whoa. But men can do that too. There are men that just... It's like I remember being shown a tiger coming out of the water. I was soaking in. I was like in this great body of water. I was just soaking and soothing in it. And then I sensed something coming up from underneath. Like, no wonder I'm afraid of deep water, man. Stuff comes up out of there. But it was clear water. And boom, right past me. Giant tiger. Beautiful, healthy, clean. And you just get a sense of its nature. Like, that's a masculine role that I just got the strong impression somebody, and he's just batting his paw. Coming at him, he's just like he's an energetic giant in his world, not even phased, not even concerned, not even like so far away from him. So this is the kind of understanding, knowledge, memories that come with intuition and softening into change, because it allows the change, and it allows what changes that need to be made within us in our environment to find their appropriate places or to pass on through, generally speaking. So that's where I'm at this morning. And if somebody is suffering from anxiety, how do I handle this? What do I do for myself? I'll put a couple of links to the healing videos that came up first I recommend this morning that are in alignment with softening into change. Healing the body, healing the mind, healing the soul, healing the spirit. Because a sick body, a sick, overburdened mind, soul, and spirit are not going to be able to have clear thinking, a clear perspective, and the ability to move any weight if moving any weight is necessary. So